I have a very interesting guest here today. I have Joe Watson from Voxburner here. He is focused, on many different things with Voxburners, but he's, focusing on sponsorship, partnerships, supporting agencies, media owners, and MarTech companies find their next big brand at the YMS Group. So basically, he's helping all those partners to collaborate with Voxburner. So Joe, pleased to welcome you on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Lucas. Great to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe tell me about Voxburner in your own perspective. What is it all about?
How long have you got? So, I mean, in a nutshell, Voxburner is a youth insight consultancy. We equip thousands of the world's largest brands with the insights, the research, thought leadership that they need to win with the Gen Z and millennial consumers of today and tomorrow. So whether you're Nike looking to optimize your existing wings with Gen Z, or perhaps a more legacy brand looking to reinvent yourself, we exist to help. So as well as kind of a content subscription service, brand consulting, and bespoke research, we also host large industry events throughout the world, throughout the year, called YMS, which exists to bring that community, bring the youth marketing world together. That is bringing those leading brands together under one roof, or one virtual roof, as the case might be, of course, at the moment. Bring that industry together to share best practices and, of course, network. My role specifically is heading up the partnerships and sponsorships teams here. So we work with, like you mentioned, media owners, platforms, publishers, tech companies, and agencies, everyone from Vice Media to Snapchat, Lad Bible to Channel 4, etc. We help them gain exposure and generate leads with basically the senior marketing decision makers that attend our events, that view our content and subscribe to our services. And yeah, needless to say, the last few months have been interesting with, of course, physical events moving online, but pleased to say it's been with great success.
Very good. We're probably going to be touching on that today in the conversation. Maybe for everybody who is getting to know Voxburner here right now in these conversations, maybe can you tell us something interesting about the company, something that characterizes the company, but maybe how many clients you're working with, or visitors coming to the webpage, or prizes that you've won, something that characterizes Voxburner a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, something that I think no matter how big we've grown, actually, it was my 5th anniversary just this week, just a couple of days ago. So thank you. One thing that I've seen maintained throughout my whole time here, and indeed prior to me joining, is what our founder, Simon Eder, calls the cherry on top, which is kind of like that ethos of there is always more to do. There's always something better that you can deliver. And whether it's a subscription, or whether it's an event sponsorship, or as simple as a event ticket, we're always keen to deliver that next level experience to our clients, so that not only do they get what they hoped for, but more than that, and even in a really cool way along the way.
Very nice. You alluded a little bit to it already, but maybe you could help me understand a little better. Who would be, the types of clients that you're working with? You mentioned a couple of brands there, but what would be a typical client working with Voxburner?
So, I mean, at least from my kind of sponsorship and partnership perspective, it's kind of encompassing anyone who wants to do business with a top brand or advertiser. So if your company is looking to do business with the marketing department from any of the big brands in the world, basically, then we're here to kind of help that. So it's kind of the full spectrum, from everyone from email delivery companies through to e-commerce and online shopping providers, through to creative digital marketing agencies, and way beyond.
And how would they find their way to Voxburner? What is the typical acquisition channels that you apply for the partners?
I guess one of our biggest ones is the good old-fashioned word of mouth gets us quite a way in. We're delighted to enjoy huge success with lots of our clients who spread the word naturally, which is always, I guess, one of the best ways out there. Of course, we also have a sales and marketing team who are running our always-on campaigns across email, social, search, lead generation, and website as well.
Interesting. Yeah, you mentioned the website there as a last point. Like, what would you say is the role of the website for client acquisition at the moment?
Yeah, well, running running a company like Voxburner, we have several different propositions to different people at different times. So it's quite complex in terms of the website and, having the right people visit the right page at the right time. So, we do have several different web pages to kind of help us and help our clients or potential clients navigate us. So, for example, for each one of our events have their own web page where the call to actions are very clear as buy a ticket or get in touch to learn about partnerships. Whereas perhaps the subscription that we've launched, the call to actions are of course very direct towards this is what's included and this is how you sign up.
I see. Okay, and it's interesting. You already started about the separation of the website for the different personas and the call to actions. Right now, what would you say is the major strength of the website? Is it the ability to convert potential clients and partners, or is it the quality that it's providing to your team in terms of leads that are coming through, or is it the overall experience? Like, where do you see strength?
So our biggest strength is probably just the content that is housed on the site. We have a very talented editorial team that not only help curate the agendas of our events, but also put together the research that Voxburner produces and also manage the blog and of course all the other content that sits on the site. And naturally there's a lot of cross-pollination between all those different areas of content. So by running one particular area of content, we can distribute that across all those different channels. So because we are a content business, first and foremost, content is king for us. That's probably the strongest area of our website. Where we perhaps struggle then, or one of the biggest challenges, is just converting that traffic into like leads. We can see that people are visiting. We can even see that they might be the right kind of people, the right kind of locations. But of course, it's just about capturing that client's details to book in a follow-up call or get in touch.
And that will be on the partnership side, or that would be much rather on the sort of marketing team side? Like where do you see that? Where did that thinking coming from? That this might be a sort of one of those things that you would like to improve.
I guess it's from all areas. I mean, we can always improve everything we do, but certainly from the partnership side of things, we know that people are visiting the site for all the right reasons. We have the dedicated partner page. It's just about converting that page into that phone call, that demo meeting, that exploratory call, etc. Whereas I guess from the other side of our events with regards to purchasing a ticket or purchasing a subscription, all of that is kind of self-managed, where people can just self-serve on the website to purchase a ticket. Of course, they can contact us if they prefer that relationship, but most of the time it's all handled online.
Gotcha. And what did you guys have been already sort of trying or working on in order to improve the conversions on the partnership side or for the partners?
Yeah, I mean, we had as lots of businesses had these huge plans prior to, I guess, the pandemic hitting a few months ago, and all of which kind of hit pause for a temporary moment for a few months. Whereas now we're really excited to kind of start getting going again on some of those projects. And now that the kind of economy, especially in events, is starting to settle back and we have more experience with running online events, we can start looking into some more of those projects, optimizations and tools to kind of help equip us to equip our clients.
Very good. come back to sort of, the value proposition that you guys are offering. Maybe for everybody who's listening in, what would you say sort of is the main, competitive advantage that you guys provide to marketing teams, that are looking to go into those younger generations of clients?
Yeah, I mean, I guess with Voxburner, we're kind of that one-stop shop for everything that you need to be able to achieve that objective. Everything that you need to win with Gen Z is right at your fingertips with a subscription, a ticket to our events, or by purchasing some research. So, or of course, all of the above. We're able to really help clients in every single way possible to ensure not only are they understanding this demographic, but they're also able to craft those marketing campaigns, those strategies to be able to target them as well.
Interesting. If we would be looking behind the curtain, right, of Voxburner, how would you say sort of the sales and the marketing team are structured at the moment?
So yeah, we're just working on this as, of course, the pandemic is starting to somewhat ease. I say, even though we're back in lockdown 2.0 as we speak, but at least the economy and events is starting to pick back up. So for us as a business, we're able to focus on so many more of these things, which is really exciting. We are headed up by a general manager who looks after the overall product and marketing sales teams. We are about to bring on a new head of marketing as well to kind of really be the figurehead of so many of these B2B strategies that we're able to put together. And from a sales side of things, we have, of course, our partnerships team that I'm heading up, and also our subscription and delegate sales team who handles those more brand side of things as well.
Interesting. Before we learning about you a little bit more, maybe one last question on what we just touched upon. If you mentioned a lead coming through, right, a partner coming through on the website, a potential partner, like how would this be handled? Like, could you walk us through the process? Like, once, somebody gets in touch with Voxburner, like what would be the next steps?
So yeah, we're all set up with our CRM Salesforce to kind of naturally flow all of those leads in the right direction, which is really great. So of course they get like a nice little confirmation of their inquiry, and then that gets directed to one of the team that look after that particular sector. For example, we split our teams like territories, I guess they could be called, by sector of the service providers that work in that space. So, for example, we have an agency partner who handles all of our relationships with marketing media agencies. So if relevant, that'll be passed over to him, and he'll be getting in touch both via email, phone call, perhaps a bit of LinkedIn in there as well. And of course, the call to action, I guess, of those communications is booking that demo or exploratory call.
Interesting. Let's switch gears and talk about you as a leader a little bit. So I would be curious, what type of content do you consume? Like, how do you educate yourself continuously further?
Yeah, it's always one of those things that, you wish you could do all of it, but, you do end up somewhat being selective, not only due to time, but also just in terms of interest. Certainly podcasts are a great way to be able to multitask, whether you're at the gym or, walking or, doing whatever kind of activity. You can always put one of those on, and, doing two things at once is always great when time is sensitive. As well as that, it's very much events are at the core of what we do, but it's also in terms of how we do business as a company as well. So, whether that was physical events a few months ago, or of course more virtual events nowadays, when we're looking to learn, when we're looking to develop, we try and get out to as many as possible. I myself have really enjoyed some of the content that event organizers in the sales and marketing space have put together on virtual events or webinars, things like that.
Okay. Since we are slowly coming to an end of the interview, I would love to jump into our rapid fire questions, right? There are a couple of short and crisp questions and just some short answer needed. You ready for
Great.
those?
Yeah, fire away.
Awesome. What's the last book that you read?
I have just finished rereading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read it when I first got into work a few years ago, and and wanted to reread it just to catch up on like so many of the thoughts that were still going through my head from the book. And yeah.
Awesome. I think the books that you reread are usually the best ones.
Yeah.
What is one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Client delivery, like an over delivery.
If there
Delivering
would,
beyond expectations.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be one thing you want to fix for your company today?
Automations everywhere. So, less work and more automation. So work smarter, not harder.
Good. What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
When the pandemic first hit and we had our huge YMS London festival just a month away, what were we going to do?
What did you do?
We moved it online.
Gotcha.
But of course, we didn't know that was even a possibility when it first all hit. So, 1 or 2 sleepless nights, but of course, cracked on, found a solution, and it worked out really well.
Very good. If today would be your first day working for Voxburner, the very, very first day, what would be one advice that you would give yourself?
Good question. It would mostly be about sticking to those like longer term goals rather than those shorter term wins, holding firm on not budging on that extra price or extra inclusion, not devaluing your products in any way, because if you know it works, it works. So just hold true.
Very cool. I really appreciate that you took the time today with us to be on the show. I want to give you the last word, right? If somebody forgets everything about the interview today, what would be one thing, Joe, that they should remember about Voxburner?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing, maybe 2 if I can. There's 2 sides,
Yeah.
If you're a big brand, Voxburner is your go-to place for content, insights, and events to increase your sales with the most important consumer around, Gen Z. If you're a marketing agency, a tech vendor, publisher, or media company, we're that as well, but we're also a route to be finding your next big client.
Awesome. Thanks for being part of the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.